and welcome to the Agribusiness Global Report. My name is Sarah Webb, and I'm editor of Agribusiness Global and host of today's show. In this segment, I speak with DeLisi, chief of Fanwood Chemical, about the latest executive order on customs enforcement, the U.S.-China Board of Trade document, and an update on what to expect with tariffs moving forward. Thanks for joining. Jen, thanks so much for joining me today. Can you talk to me a little bit about the latest executive order on customs enforcement?
Yes, first, I wanted, since this is a very international audience, I just wanted to talk about the new executive order on customs enforcement. It was issued on June 3, 2026, so just a couple of weeks ago. It will take effect 180 days from now. If you are a non-US citizen importer of record, it is going to have a significant impact on bonding requirements and other things in the United States, including more details on who you are. If you are an existing US importer of record, it may also have an impact on your bonding requirements, and they may ask you an awful lot more questions about what your intentions are for the future, the kind of products that you're bringing in, import volumes, years organized ownership, business affiliations, and domestic assets. They're trying to tighten up customs enforcement to make sure if there are issues, they can go after a US importer of record.
Okay. And can you also talk to me a little bit too about the US-China Board of Trade as well?
Yes, as many will remember, when President Trump visited with President Xi in China, they talked about the potential of setting up a U.S. Board of Trade. That process is underway, at least the beginnings of the process. There's a notice that came out of the United States Trade Rep's office. It's very difficult to understand where this is heading, but it may be a singular opportunity to even look at the 301 tariffs from 2018 and 2019 and make your uh, thoughts well known as to whether they're reasonable and should be enforced. Basically, they're looking for a list of items that can be imported from China that are non-controversial and do not impact U.S. industry. Once you put all this information in, there's no deadlines for them to respond. So it's very ill-defined at this point, but you have till July 10 if you want to make any comments, both on individual products or on how the board should be operated.
Okay. And speaking of tariffs, do you also have an update on that as well?
Yeah, I think we should just cut to the chase today and talk about where we're going. As folks need to know, the so-called Section 122 tariffs, which are basically 10% across the board with the same exceptions list that was used in reciprocity, expire on July 24. The administration has been diligently working to complete some 301 investigations, especially the one on forced labor. The administration anticipates that it will be completed before the deadline for the expiration of the 122 tariffs. At this point in time, the best that anybody can guess is that they will try to go back to what the reciprocity tariffs were on the agreements that they cut uh, before their Supreme Court ruled the whole thing illegal, which would be UK 10% total, meaning reciprocity plus base tariffs. EU, Switzerland, South Korea, Japan, and Taiwan, 15% total. And interestingly, the EU just signed the agreement that the United States and EU had been negotiating for several months today. China, frankly, I don't have a guess. I suspect it'll be 20% to make up for both the 10% fentanyl and 10% reciprocity. The base 301 tariffs will likely not change at all. India could be 18% plus base tariffs, Vietnam 20% plus base tariffs, Malaysia 19% plus base tariffs. Other free trade agreement partners, including products that meet the rules of origin, will probably be 10%. USMCA will probably still be 0% on anything that meets the rules of origin, and likely 10%, maybe more, on things that do not meet the rules of origin. And in all cases, it appears as if that exemption list will remain static. So that's a brief update as to where we are. Please let us know if you've got any questions or if we can help in any way.
Thanks so much, Jim. We've definitely unpacked quite a bit today. So thank you for joining me. We appreciate your insights as always. Thanks again for joining for this episode of the Agribusiness Global Report. I'm your host, Sarah Webb. Until next time.